What's going on, guys? It's Adonis, and this is my review with spoilers for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So I just got home from the theater. We just filmed, me and my lady filmed a non-spoiler review of it, and this is my spoiler review. So if you hear noises in the background or see my lady walk behind me, it's because we just got home. It's kind of late. She has work in the morning, so but let's get into it. These are things that I'll talk about, things that I liked, things that I didn't like, some questions that I had, and also kind of my final recap thoughts and my score for the movie. So let's get into it. So I have a couple of notes here so I can kind of get all my thoughts together since I just saw the movie, so I'm still trying to process everything. And if I leave anything out, maybe good, bad, or whatever, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys liked, didn't like, things like that. So first thing, let's talk about the likes. What did I like about this movie? First, action sequences were on point. By far much better than the Nolan sequences as far as the combat goes. The Superman sequences as far as the fight with him and Batman, him and Doomsday, awesome. The sequences were sick. I really liked the action, and it just felt like it was well thought out on how they did the choreography, how they portrayed each character. Even with Wonder Woman, her stuff was super dope. Her scenes were super sick. And I'm so glad that they did her justice as far as her ability. We still have a lot to learn from Diana in this, universe, but action scenes on point. Batman. Okay, so Ben Affleck as Batman is so good. He's so good. And I'm so happy because I remember when he first got cast, there was this backlash, huge backlash on, is he going to be good? Is he not going to be good? They talk about Daredevil, which is a super old movie. So they are some people are really focused on this old work that he did. And you can see he's a great actor, but as Batman, he's so good. Not to mention the detective work that he has done in the movie. I feel like this is kind of like the first side of the detective things that we are now seeing of Batman in an actual movie, so I like that stuff. His combat skills are sick, so I really enjoyed that. His voice was awesome, and they explained his voice. So it wasn't just like, he talks a certain way because that's just how he talks. Like, no, at the beginning, Alfred was working on his microphone for his voice. So I'm glad that they explained that early on in the film. He makes his gadgets. He doesn't make all of them, but he's making weapons and stuff like that to combat Superman. So it's cool that he's more hands-on Batman. He's not just the guy that goes in the suit and solving crime, like beating up bad guys and stuff. It seemed like, he was doing due diligence, doing work, trying to find answers. It was just a real cool section, especially when he went and, decided to break into LexCorp. To get the kryptonite, or he found out that the kryptonite was on this boat, and Alfred put him on blast, like, dude, don't lie to me, man, what's going on? So I really like that. Alfred, by the way, segue, awesome in this movie. Jeremy Irons as Alfred was so good. I preferred this version of Alfred over the Nolan version. He wasn't this old butler that just saw what's going on and helps every once in a while. Like, no, he's super hands-on. He's deliberate, aggressive, and he doesn't take shit from him. He doesn't take shit from Batman. So I really liked Jeremy Irons' character. You have that wise vibe that you get from him. So super awesome. Now, surprisingly, Lex. Now, I know this is a really polarizing topic for some people with Lex. And like I said, going into the movie, I wanted to make sure that I judge the movie on the movie, on its own merits, not based off of any comic book that I know of or the Lex that we've seen before. What does Lex look like in this universe? So that was my focus, and I liked him. I didn't love him. I didn't dislike him. I liked him. And some of the things that I really liked, obviously his quirkiness. I like that because I feel like it kind of puts him in time now. And he doesn't need to be this big brawn of a person to be, conniving or manipulative, or evil for that matter. I feel like that's the go-to. Like, hey, we need this big menacing guy to be Lex. So I like that they took this route with it. Could it have been done better? Yes, for sure. But with what they used him for, I liked it. Some of the things that I liked about him when he, cut off Zod's fingers and went into the spaceship and he started learning about what's going on. I said, we have a library of all these planets, and he was like, yeah, like, let me learn about these. So in that section, obviously it skips, but in that section of him being in the ship, he's learning. It didn't show what he learned, but he's learning. He's trying to figure out, okay, what is out there? What's going on? And that kind of leads into the end of him talking about, this guy is coming. He's coming. The signal's been sent out, into the darkness of space, and, he's coming. And I feel like he knows who's coming. I feel like he knows that, Darkseid is on his way. That he's on his way. He's going to be probably the main bad in Justice League for sure. But I like that Lex learned, and he knew who Batman is. He knows who Superman is. So it's just very thought out. Very thought out. And, well, did he know who Batman was? I can assume that he does, but I don't think he does. I don't think he knows who Batman is, but he knows who Superman is. For sure. He knows that he's Clark Kent, obviously with Clark's mom and so on. And he called him by his name. So he knows who Superman is, which is awesome. So I really, really enjoyed that. And Wonder Woman. Fuck. Wonder Woman was great. Were there parts where I felt that Diana, close to the end of the movie when she had some dialogue, she was a little wooden, but I would say her role in the movie, when she was on screen, when she was delivering lines, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And her portrayal of Wonder Woman in costume as Wonder Woman fighting was great. I thought it was sick. She had the lasso. Her combat skills were on point. Chopping off Doomsday's arm, cutting his leg down. Like, she was a beast. Like, super awesome. So I really liked how they portrayed Wonder Woman in this movie. Definitely wasn't like this damsel or this weak, woman that could fight. Like, she was super strong. So I really liked that about as well. And other things like the comic stuff, right? You had some things from Dark Knight Returns. The Batman suit from Dark Knight Returns. You had the kryptonite explosive projectile, right? He did the smoke bomb, appeared behind him, shot the dart, dude caught it, and boom, right in his face. That's almost identical from the comic, from the movie as well. Obviously, Green Arrow was the one that shot it in the movie, but he's not in this. But I liked those things that they tied into it. And then you had stuff from Death of Superman. Obviously, Doomsday, him killing Superman, the whole memorial thing, the whole funeral thing. I like that aspect of it as well. We all know Superman's not dead, but I really, really, really liked the tie-ins of these comics. There's a lot of cool little Easter eggs there that I really enjoyed. Now, some of the questions that I had that were raised in the movie was with with Batman's dream. Now, Batman does not have premonitions. That's just not what he has. And in that dream, you had these parademons that came down, right? Which obviously we know are from Darkseid. Now, that was weird, right? But on the other side of things, you had, and with that, let's go back to that. You had the Omega symbol on the ground. He was overlooking, this destroyed city landscape, kind of lava or something shooting out of the ground in the foreground or in the background. And so those things are always like, okay, well, what's going on? Whose dream is this one? Is it a premonition? Did he touch something that set this off? And then, strangely, he wakes up out of this dream, and it seemed as if if Flash was actually coming through the Speed Force, telling him, hey, Lois is the key, come find us. She's right, find us. Like, so in that section alone, for me, I was confused because was it his dream? Was he in the Speed Force with Barry, and Barry's trying to show him what's going on? That was a really confusing section. I think that was the only section where I was like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't really get it. I saw what I saw, and then Barry seemed like he had a suit on top of his Flash suit, like a time travel suit of some sort. Not really 100% sure. It might have not even been Barry, but that's what I got from it. So that's a big question. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about that section, what you might think it might be. But that's one of the questions that I had for sure. Now let's talk about the dislikes on the movie. Kind of the main thing for myself was just how it was cut. I felt like the material was all there. I just felt it wasn't cut in the most cohesive way to tell the story that they wanted to tell. I pieced it together, but I felt like you had to be paying attention a lot to know, okay, is this a before scene? Is it during what's going on, or is it after what you just saw? And it didn't really show that well. Perfect example would be at the end, at the funeral, right? Batman is talking to Diana. Bruce is talking to Diana, and he's like, I need you to help me find these other metas like you. And she was like, why? And he's like, I just have a feeling. He had said something around those lines, right? We need to find these people so they can fight. And he was like, fight what? What's coming? He's like, I just have a feeling. And then it cuts to him, Batman, and Lex Luthor in jail. Okay? Now, first off, you think, oh, it's another scene. This is after. And he's talking to Lex, and Lex is talking about all the stuff that we talked about before, right? He sent something into space. Somebody's coming. He's coming. Bells ringing, whatever, right? And then it cuts back to Lois at the funeral with the dirt, throwing it on. So at that point, I think when he was saying to Diana, I have a feeling, it went back in time to him talking to Lex. And then it came back to, him and Diana. She walks off, and then Lois is throwing the dirt on his grave. That's one of the things where I was like, okay, that could have been done better, right? That could have been done better. And even if it's in the same sequence, even if it was in the same sequence, it was just so like, I don't know what it was, how it cut it, but it just didn't flow as good as it could have. I'm not an editor, so I don't want to act like I edit these things. I can edit movies. I'm just saying, just from a perspective of the viewer, if you weren't really locked in to what's going on and the little pieces and the Easter eggs that were laid around as for a comic book fan, you may be lost in some of this stuff in the movie. Even when at the beginning of the movie, when the guy's diving into the water, he grabs this little tool thing or this little thing underwater, and come to find out they crack it open and there's kryptonite in there. And then they cut to something completely different. They're in Africa now, and so it was just things where it jumped so much. And after Africa, it goes to Lois in some office or at a house, and it was so quick at first, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? So those are the things that I feel like I dislike, was just the cutting of the movie. But with that said, my final thoughts on the movie, I really enjoyed it. I really did. And that's not to say that I'm biased towards DC or Marvel or whatever. I looked at it for what it was, and I really feel that 8 out of 10 is a solid mark for this movie. Now, some will say, oh, well, it wasn't as good as this other movie or whatever. That's cool. You can't, I'm not trying to compare it to another movie. I'm trying to compare it to itself. Is it good? Did I enjoy it? How was the story? Was the acting good for myself? Did I care about some of the things that was going on? And I for all those things, I want to give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely a good movie, solid. It doesn't need to be fantastic for me to like it, but I actually really, really enjoyed Batman v Superman. But let me know down below, guys, what you guys thought about this movie. Did you enjoy this movie? Were there things that you didn't like, that you did like? Things that could have been done better? And what are your predictions for the next movie? Justice League Part 1 and 2, or any of the solo Batman films? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And if you like this spoiler review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Show me some love. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you're going to want to do that. Hit that APP logo in the corner to subscribe to the channel. Or if you're on mobile, hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, till next time. See you later. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you guys like this video and want to see more content like this, go ahead and click that APP logo in the corner to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys want to chat with me on social media, go ahead and like my Facebook page, Absolutely Tech, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Adonis_AteamLV. All right, guys, till next time. See you later.